guys, back with another video. So I saw this in the woods when we're scouting here a little bit, and I wanted to show it to you guys. So I don't know if you can see that because of the light, but in the bottom of this, there's a nice little puddle of water from where someone has cut this tree. We're near the campsite we were in the video the other day, and someone's cut this and there's some water there. So a survival situation if you can't find water. The problem with areas like this is it's going to be really nasty. There might be mosquito eggs and things like that. So what you're going to have to do is filter this somehow. So if you carry a piece of cotton bandana or something like that with you, it makes it easier because you can just soak it up and then put it into your container and boil it. If not, then you're going to have to create an actual filter where you use charcoal, sand, and gravel and those sorts of things to be able to filter this out. I'll probably do a video in the future showing how to make an actual water filter out of the woods. But in the meantime, just, you know, if you're running low on water, you're not near a water source, this is something to think about. Now that being said, in Georgia, I hardly ever carry water with me because I can walk a couple miles in any direction and you're going to trip all over water. For instance, where I'm at right now, you see my kids out there playing. About maybe 100 yards that way is a good sized creek. So you tend to trip and fall over water around here. So, but this is something, if you're low on water, not near a water source, can't find water, this is something to think about. It's similar to the same way that in the morning, if you get up and the dew's on the ground, you could tie some pieces of cloth around your ankles and go walk through a field and something like that and collect up a bunch of dew and have water for the day. So similar to that, the same way you would filter it out and such. So all right, let me turn this off and get back to checking this area out, and I'll film some more. All right, so my son Jaden is going to be teaching my daughter Lily here how to do an helix hitch to tie up her hammock. So all right, show us.
First do that, you'll wrap it around, then you just go down and away, and take your fingers and just bring it through.
Then what do? Tighten it up. It's good. All right. Now, would you?
Pardon?
No. No, it's not. You're good.
Sit in the
No, let her do it.
Ah.
All right, we'll be back. All right, here we go. This is Lily now showing us how to do a helix hitch. Ready? Go for it. Good job. That's how it's done. Just wanted to show you guys how nice this area looks on this creek. It's coming down. It's beautiful out here. Alright, so I have the char tin that was in the last video. That was this was a pellet tin, so I obviously tossed it in the fire and made some char out of inside of it. And so you can use punk wood, which is wood like kind of similar to what I'm setting on, which is wood that's starting to decay. Like this is pine wood that's become punky and it's all spongy. Pine's not the best one to use, but pretty much any punk wood's gonna work. So I'm gonna open this up real quick. Oh, this is nice. I don't want to do like a bag of chips, bust it open and go everywhere. So what we're going to use to start the fire today is actually char cloth instead of charred wood. This was a bandana that I had turned into char cloth. So the way you do this, I'm going to get my striker, a piece of flint here. Now the way you would do this if this was charred wood is you would strike down into it, with char cloth, you can set the cloth actually on your piece of flint and do it like I'm about to show you. So what I'll do is I'll press it a little bit with my thumb just to kind of hold it in place. Try to get some, almost there. As soon as one of those hits this cloth, it'll light up. There we go. And once that's done, I'm going to take that, put into the bird's nest we have here. I've just got it in some leaves and some grasses, which is all of it's a little bit wet from where it rained. So you're going to see a lot of smoke from this because this is really moist and wet. If this was dry, you wouldn't see that much smoke as I do this. Bit of a flame there. I'll turn it over and let it try to climb. You can see it's not wanting to burn that well. Try to let it do its thing here for a minute. Pretty much the only thing that's really burning is the dried leaves that I went and found. These grasses aren't wanting to burn. It's drying. What I may have to do is do that again. With a tinder bundle made of those leaves this time. We'll see if we can get this going. I'm going to go ahead and put a few of these little dry sticks in here, so if we do get lucky enough to catch enough flame to start them, we'll build off of that and get the fire going from that. What I don't want to do is put a whole bunch on right now and risk smothering it because it's so wet out here. And putting a whole bunch on, this is already going to be struggling to start itself. So it's going to need as much oxygen as it can get. So when you have your fire triangle, you have your you have heat, fuel, and oxygen. Right now, the moisture that's in this is trying to still the heat, because when you're trying to get to that 800 degree mark where you get combustion, 212 degree steam doesn't really help you all that much. So the fuel you want to be very small so that the minimal amount of heat can start combusting that fuel. And we want as much oxygen as we can get to it. Give it another breath here. Told you you'd see a lot of smoke. maybe a lost cause, but you guys saw how easy it is to use flint and steel with char cloth. And I may even do, I may use the sun when we got a little bit of the sun, show you guys how fast that is with char cloth or charred wood. If this doesn't work, that's what we'll do. We may be able to get this done. It's struggling. Now if you use proper material, if you're using good materials and you're doing a proper fire lay, you should never have to blow on your tinder bundle. So this is just showing how mediocre the material is I'm using right now. Yeah, you guys can probably see that the only time I'm really getting any sort of flame is as I'm providing it that extra oxygen. If I can get those dry sticks that I've got to start igniting, then we'll not be able to save it, but I don't know that it's going to happen. We'll see. I'm usually pretty good about getting it going even when it's rough material. Now what I did is right before I started this, I made these little feather sticks just real quick, showing my son how to do them. So this is how easy a feather stick is to use, where you get a little bit of a flame going to it and it'll burn and burn and burn. So that's something you could try if you're having mediocre materials. And this is also pine or fat wood, whatever you want to call it. So those will keep this going no matter what, pretty much. So you guys have seen me do a million fires on this channel, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to get this fire going, and I'll be back to you in a moment. Okay, so we've got that fire going. What I want to show you guys real quick while I still have a little bit of sun is how easy it is to use char cloth and solar to ignite the char cloth, or punk wood, whichever one you decide to use. Typically in settlers' days, they would not use cloth because cloth was valuable. So if they didn't have to use cloth, they wouldn't. They'd usually use punk wood. So the wood, because typically cotton was kind of expensive, and then so it would start off as a piece of clothing, and then it would end up as a dish rag, and then it would end up as a mop type rag, and then it would be used for this. So it had to go through a lot of steps. It wasn't just something that you just went and bought a dollar bandana and made. So this is how quick it is to use solar. So what I'm going to do is find the sun, bring it into a point, and it should already be ignited. Can't really tell in the sun. The sun's at a real low angle right now. Can't tell if it's ignited yet or not. So I'll show you guys something else. I can't tell if it's, no, it's not getting it yet. Alright, so this is a Fresnel lens. It gathers up a whole lot more light. And the good thing about a Fresnel lens is you can cut it to the shape that you need. And I've cut it to the exact shape of this Hudson Bay tin. One issue that I'm having here is the sun's down behind those trees and such, and it's not giving me enough. Can't tell if I've lit it or not. Alright, well this video may be a bust here. Let's see. Let's try a few more times. somewhere around noon, anywhere from 10 to noon, or 10 to 2, somewhere around that time frame. This literally takes like half a second. Literally, it's like boom, it's lit. I don't know that I'm gonna have the light to get this right now. I may not have enough light left here. No. Alright, so what I'm going to show now is I'll do another flint. I'm going to pretend that this is charred wood. You guys have seen me use it as if it was a char cloth, which it is. So with charred wood, you don't hold the wood on the flint and strike down on the flint. You're going to hold your striker and use your stone to cast your sparks into the wood like so. This is how you would light charred wood. Trying not to do what I'm doing where I'm striking too far and hitting it. There we go. Nope, that went back out. So another thing about using charred cloth or charred wood or anything like that is when it first comes out of the tin is when it's the most reactive. The more it sets out in the open air, the more moisture it's going to gain. It soaks it up very quickly. So as soon as you make it, you want to put it in an airtight container if you can. Put this in here and make it. Out of these leaves just to show this. Just like that. These leaves are wet. It's going up. Flaming up and then going out. But you get the idea. Alright, so that's how to use both charred wood and charred tin. So the only thing I carry in this fire kit is a striker, some pieces of flint, and a Fresnel lens. And then the kit actually comes with a magnifying glass on it. If you guys have ever wondered what's in that fire kit. And then I have just a piece of cardboard to protect this lens from any scrapes or anything like that. I'll put the Fresnel lens up against it. Alright, I'll get back to you.